Welcome back, 𝙽ᅟᅟᅟ here. Thought I'd cover the egg. Tried to make a 3D model based on the News Nation video that came out, depicting a UAP shaped like an egg. People clowned on it. I guess it's pretty goofy, but I wanted to give it a fair shot in terms of just observations, 3D modeling, recreating as close as possible. And when you do that, you learn shit. And I thought I'd share it. So just to provide some more context of the scenario before I jump into some of the cooler shit that I found, because not only this video came out, a couple other videos, sorry, another video came out, and some photos came out also depicting egg-shaped UAP, and I just want to see if there's any links between that. So apparently this is a 6-meter long UAP that is 19 foot. These are normal human scales next to it, military vehicle. They converge up to a point on a wire, and it connects up to a helicopter, which is 150 foot away, or 45 meters. Yeah. So jumping into the scene out of the cool art, go into here. There's actually some potentially interesting math with this object. Like you can make an egg many different ways, but this egg happens to be something potentially mathematical. So in design, I guess. So I took a bunch of photos where it showed the egg in the most sort of form. So it's sort of like if I take like this egg, for example, and then like I rotate it in space, you can see it sort of foreshortens. But basically, if I have it sort of like poking out the most, then I can sort of recreate a 3D model based on it. And thankfully, it's always a spherical base, so it's always a sphere at some point of the symmetrically, silhouette-wise. Anyway, so if you take a sphere, jumping into the cool math part of this shit, so if you take a sphere and then you take frames of the video and then you overlap them and you sort of get like this sort of generalization shape of what we're seeing. This is how I started recreating the model. And then you cut halfway of the sphere and then you put a bounding box around it, being a rectangle. Sorry, I know math, but whatever. I'm no math wizard either. But anyway, I noticed there was interesting numbers going on here where if you go from the halfway point to the edge point, and then you increase that by half. So this is pi. And then if I divide that by 2, I get this number. So half of pi, and I scale this thing outwards, I get pretty close to the edge here. But what that means, I'll show you now. If I deform this actual sphere, and then I drag it to this edge point, it actually curves like very well to frames within the video. So what is being depicted in this is potentially a egg-shaped UAP that represents, that is designed. So half of it is a sphere, and then the other half is an elongated, deformed sphere that follows the mathematics of potentially half of pi. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, just something I noticed when I was like, hang on, those numbers look really similar. So it's like to something I know about. I don't know what that could mean, but it is potentially designed for, I don't know, whatever. But now, if I jump into some of the other scenes, taking this mathematically designed object, I wanted to see if there are any links, and I'll show you that right now, actually. All right, so now we're in the other scene now, and I've just sort of taken that object and I've rotated it around just to show that it lines up with multiple frames from the News Nation video. And then shortly after, when I was just recreating this model, and I was just focusing on modeling the sling next, seeing if there's anything interesting about that as well. This Antarctic video came out from 4chan, from an apparent leaker. Now, also following this, like literally like 30 minutes ago, like they posted a bunch of photos from like a cave or something like that, where it's like a glowing egg thing with night vision, and then like there's a bunch of context behind this apparent sort of like chamber or something like that, where there's like a body or something. I mean, I'll quickly jump through a bunch of screenshots from that conversation afterwards, but please look at it in your own time more deeply, because this is literally fresh and they will probably post more. Anyway, jumping into this video. It's 27 video from Antarctica, apparently. And every sort of like pendulum swing where it comes out far, I've taken a screenshot. Maybe this sort of pendulum, yeah, I've taken a screenshot and put it into Blender. So apparently this thing is in Antarctica once again. So maybe we could sort of figure out exactly where this is taken based on mountain and stuff like that. There's also like light data going around here, so you can sort of predict time of day and shadow and stuff like that. If it's a 3D recreation, then they could have fucked that up as well. So look into that. Anyone who's smart like that, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so they line up here and then they line up here as well with the cave photos. So this is all the same object, which is the sphere with the half of pi sort of elongation to make it an egg shaped. And they follow a design that is consistent, seemingly, throughout different sources. So that doesn't prove anything, but it's just interesting, I guess. And if we, it, I guess if someone was to fake this, they would have to really have their sort of mm, hand on the pulse, I guess, to quickly sort of mock this stuff up in like Unreal Engine or Unity. And maybe ways that we could catch them out if they were doing something like that would probably be like using of cave-based model assets in the Unity or Unreal Store. So look into that. All right, thought I'd jump into just basically a form of what we could be seeing. Looks pretty cool from far away as well, but basically the pilots talked about the surface of this thing looking like pearl-like or like metallic with no seams. Also in the cave sort of photos, it seems to be glowing somewhat, and people saying in the videos it glows, but I'm not really sure about that section, but I thought I'd give it a bit of a glow anyway, since a lot of these things seem to emit light at least. But yeah, the shape was as close as I could get it, and hopefully this was helpful. A lot of the this is still an evolving topic. There are seemingly more photos and videos that could be coming out. Please check the 4chan sort of discussion happening right now. There's like a ton of messages coming out from another leaker that some of those photos I was covering that literally only happened like 30 minutes ago. So it's still an evolving situation. Yeah. And then just to cover this topic, like I'm just an artist here and I just want to recreate things, but I I I want to bring this up because unfortunately, as soon as this video got released, it got thrown under the bus. Um, just like every egg-based joke thrown at it, and they were funny, of course, but it's the internet as well. So what do you expect? But it's not really in the public consciousness anymore. People don't really care about it, without even giving it a fair like shot at like debunking it or analyzing it. And not to say I believe either way, but I feel like we should, look at things objectively and see if they hold any weight really. So hopefully this model can help push that forward. And I've tried to do the exact same treatment with other things as well. If it's sort of like a social drama surrounding something, it's like, but like cool object still. I want to recreate it. If it happens to be real, then I might as well jump into it. So yeah, if you're interested in looking at those, I've tried to cover other things like the Manchester Airport UAP or a bunch of the Immaculate Constellation videos that got photos that got released apparently. This one took quite a while, so feel free to look at any of my previous works. A lot of these things just get thrown under the bus, and there's a lot of work behind making these analysis, but not many people really seem to care. But if you do care, um, and you're interested in seeing more of this stuff, feel free to give me a follow. I don't make any money from this as of currently. I'm just a fresh new channel. I like making these models. They're fun. They're so cool. Apparently, like hypothetically, these could be like alien sort of craft, and I'm trying to recreate them as close as I can. And yeah, when you do that, you learn some stuff. So it's like I create model. Do I just not share that information that could be potentially useful, like math and cool math and cool shape and details I notice? Like I feel like people should know. But yeah, hopefully you find these useful. Download the models if you want to. Use them for recreational use, 3D print them. Just use the interactive viewer that I provide within the links in the descriptions for any of the stuff I cover. Yeah. Hopefully this was good. Anyway, see you around. I'll be covering more stuff in the future.